growers in the state of Hawaii as well as the U.S. We have 3,100 acres of land, 4 million trees, and we grow Arabica. There's two kinds of coffee, we have Arabica and Robusto. The reason is Arabica is more well balanced as far as the taste. You can use it for regular coffee, mochas, lattes, and espresso, while the Robusto is higher in caffeine. They're more for espresso. This bless you.
Sorry.
All these coffees are all self-pollinated. We don't depend on any bees to pollinate the blossoms. Our state is located in LLA all the way to Poipu. Majority of the trees is actually planted towards the ocean side. If you come in late December, usually blossom starts usually more than 5 times. So when you harvest, you have different size of cherries, different cane colors and sizes. Coffee and gardenia are actually have the same scent as far as the blossom. Of course, gardenia doesn't give you cherries like the coffee, but the blossoms of the coffee and the gardenias, that's the same thing, which is a jasmine. As you can see, these are the blossoms. Maybe a couple more days, it's gonna bloom.
And it's open here.
Yeah, so when it blooms, it look like that. And from there, it's gonna fall off within 24 to 48 hours. And when it comes off, see this one, you see little tiny cherries growing from that one. So that's what it looks like. And coffee, people think they're shrubs or bushes because they can short and stop it, but they're actually trees. But because we use this mechanical harvester, we prune them when it is about 10 feet. And from there, it takes about 2 years before you can harvest on it. But from seeds, it takes about 5 years before you can harvest on it. Okay, come you walk. And majority, and once in a while, inside the cherries, you have a single beans, which is the pea berry. It's more solid beans, tastes a little bit more acidic, more caffeinated, which is about 3 or 4% of our harvest is pea berries. You don't know what you have until you process them. And usually it takes about 2 months as far as the seed. If you want to grow coffee, it takes about 2 months to germinate, and then between 7 to 9 months before you can transplant them. And we harvest only once a year. And as you can see, because of different blossoming, some cherries are bigger than others. So by the time we harvest, the first one can like turn to brownish black. The red and the yellow will be the middle one, which is actually the actual color of the cherries when it's fully ripe, yellow or red. And then of course, the last one will be the green one. And usually coffees could last between 50 to 100 years, grow about 50 to 60 feet in height. It is. But you know, because of the mechanical harvest, if you let it grow, you pretty much waste a lot of coffee, and on top of that, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So by pruning them, you can actually give you a better yield as far as the cherries and give you a better looking.
Generate its energy. And
yes. And anything that's well maintained, you know, lasts longer also. So that's the reason why we prune them every year. And of course, we stagger them as far as the pruning. Because if you prune them all one time, then we don't have no coffee to harvest. Yeah, so we stagger all the pruning. And before we became a Kauai coffee, this is actually a sugar plantation. This is in 1800. First one to grow sugar in the island of Hawaii. But sugar beets, you know, people venture into new things versus buying sugar. So in mid-80s, which is in 87, that's when Kauai coffee started growing. And since then, we do actually provide about 50-60% of coffee grown in the island of Hawaii, as well as the U.S. If you go to the store, you can actually buy our coffee. It's that blue bag with the hulago. The different in sizes is 7 ounces out there, while ours is 10 ounces. So that's the difference. And we have some small farmers that grow coffee, and they use this Kauai coffee as their brand also. But if it's not in the blue bag with the hulago in front, then it's not from this state. So you have to, you know, look out for the blue bag with the hulago. you know that it's from here. And all the coffee that we sell, either the house blend, the flavoring, or the reserve one, is all 100% Kauai coffee. We're big enough that we don't have to buy from smaller farmer. Okay. Any questions? Oh, okay. Okay.
Could you please explain to me one more time, because I didn't hear,
Okay.
the pea berry. Why is it so expensive?
Okay.
What's so special about it?
Pea berry is actually once in a while, if it's fully developed, you get 2 seeds in a cherry. But once in a while, you have a single beans, which is the pea berry. It's about 3-4% of pea berry, so it's not much. And 10 years ago, pea berry wasn't as popular, but 10 years later, everybody walks through the door like pea berry. I call it the acquired taste. You still have a few people that doesn't like pea berry, but majority of the people actually like pea berry now. So yeah, and all cherries are look-alike. So when you harvest, after processing, that's when you know what you have. So it's kind of rare species, but they come from all sorts of varietals. Between the 5 different varieties that we grow, any one of those varieties can get pea berry from it. Yeah.
I see. So they taste actually like
Little bit more acidic.
More acidic.
Yeah, more caffeinated.
more caffeinated.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing to know.
Oh, okay.
Because I really like tea berry, and I always wonder why do I like tea berry so much.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's for coffee.
More caffeinated, a little bit more stronger taste on it.
Something. I
Yeah.
always recognize tea berry.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So I was always curious, I wanted to hear from an expert.
And we have, this is our more like a little sitting area. We have like plants that, native to the island, and some are not. And these are the varietals, the 5 different varietals that we carry. They come in the yellow bag or the brown bag. So the yellow Kaua'i, the red, the Mondo Typica, and then the Kauai Blue Mountain. They're only sold in here or through the website. We have pea berries, we call them the specialties, which is a seasonal one. Right now we have the Kauai Blue pea berry and the red Kauai pea berry. Seasonal is only from one single origin, or the yellow bag pea berry is from the mix of the 5 different varietals. Price-wise, the yellow bag is a little bit more cheaper versus the brown bag. Brown bag, which is the seasonal, is a couple of dollars more versus the yellow bag. With this one, we have promos going on. If you buy 4, you get an extra of the yellow pea berry. You can choose from dark or medium one. We also have a club similar to wine. There's no fee. Have 1 bag, 10-ounce bag of the yellow bag shipped to you. For the US, $18.25, $34 for 2 10 ounces. 6 months for 10 ounces is $106 to $105 for a year. And there's no fee. The bonus part of a coffee club member is that whenever you shop in our store or through the website, anything you buy that has the Kauai Coffee name on it, you get 15% discount automatic on the regular prices. So it's something to think about. You don't have to do it in here. You can do it on the website. But if you buy a lot of Kauai Coffee logo items in here, 15% discount doesn't sound plenty, but when you buy a lot, it does add up. So it's something to think about. As I said, you can be in the club for 3 months. If it's not working out, you can cancel. It's not like a lifetime commitment. So
So in the store, if I buy, let's say 4 bags of pea berry,
you get the yellow bag pea berry. You can choose from the dark or medium roasted.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's only in the store. Any promos that's going on in the store is only in the store. Website have their own thing going on.
I know.
Yeah, so their same company is just separate thing going on, different department.
Okay, super. So if I buy 4 pea berries, I get yellow
An
pea
extra.
berry.
Yeah, the yellow bag pea berry.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, if you like pea berries, I like the medium one for myself. So right in here is an experimental section, meaning mixing 2 varieties between the UH, which is the University of Hawaii, and Kauai coffee, and see how it's provide, as far as the coffee itself, how it produces. We also use dripping irrigation. What we do is mix water with the liquid nitrogen, which is more like a urea or potash. and it drips directly to the roots, prevent us from any spraying or dusting. And we have about 2,500 miles of tubing, the largest coffee growers that still does that. And the only time that we do spray is when we have weeds or vines at the base of the coffee. If you let those things grow, they can overtake the whole thing and prevent them from growing, and also having more cherries on top of them. So when we see weeds or vines, we try to, spray them right there, because eventually they're gonna overtake the whole thing, kills them off on top of that.
Thank you.
Questions?
Nope.
Okay. Here is the nursery. Nothing much going on, and we don't have weeds for sale. It's just only a joke from our co-worker. Right here is our Norfolk pines, which is what it look like from Kauai's, and when it's fully grown, the one on the side of the road, that's what it look like, 50 feet or higher. There are actually our own Christmas trees for the holidays. The difference between that and the million trees is this doesn't have any scent, but they do last long. So sometimes, for each houses, they get 2 trees, island one, mainland one, because kids like the scent. You can spray this with 10 bottles of that spray, still the same thing, doesn't have any scent. And of course, there is no such thing as decaf trees. I wish there is, but it doesn't happen. So what we do is actually send our coffee to Vancouver, Canada. It's a water processing. What you do is actually soak it in hot water for 18 hours, filter the caffeine, and put back about 0.3 caffeine into the coffee. So if you're drinking coffee as per decaf, there is actually a 0.3 caffeine on it. There's no such thing as decaf free. You cannot even tell it's decaf until you look at this water. It's a water processing versus a chemical, which is more better for your health, tastes better versus the chemical one. And any flavoring, we actually add the flavor. It's a natural oil flavored added to the ground coffee. So when you buy flavored coffee, they come pre-ground. It's more saturated versus in a whole bean. When you flavor the whole bean, it's mostly outside. So by the time you grind them, your oil stuck in your grinder and your coffee doesn't taste as good. So having it flavored when it's ground and warm, it absorbs the oil better, so you have a better flavoring, well-balanced taste. And with that, you get 5 bags of flavor, gets you an extra 10-ounce flavor of your choice. You can mix the regular one with the caffeine and the decaf flavoring to that. There's also that by 4, there's a decaf reserve, and you can mix that with the regular one that has caffeine on that one. So yellow to yellow, blue to blue. Okay? And this is a water brass tree. The reason is that the flower looks like a brass. I think this one grows to pretty much any tropical places like California, Florida, like that. And I don't think they have any scent today. Okay, so this is actually a hydropower which is located in Wainiha, up in the mountain on the other side. This is powered by all the water that comes from the waterfalls. It provides about 60% of power to the island of Kauai, because I'm sure if you folks have been to the gas station, I don't know how much you guys pay for a gallon, but our prices as far as the gas is kind of high. So it kind of factored to our cost of living as far as the food. So from mainland, then from Honolulu to here. So by the time you get them in here, the price of living is a little bit more higher. Thank God it's only about 4.166 as far as the tax, because we tax everything in Hawaii. There's no such thing like the food that you consume when you go out eating or just go to the grocery, everything is all taxed. So we can try to help ourselves since we have enough water, we have a lot of sun, you see solar panels, which can like lower our costs as far as electricity. And as far as these coffees in here, they're not for sale. We only use them when we harvest because of that machine. At the beginning or the end, sometimes they get a little bit too close, or sometimes some trees get a little push or pulled, and that's the only time that we transplant them.